There is a peculiar ache that comes from watching something you thought you understood slip silently, like sand through the cracks in your certainty. This month, the world of Bitcoin has been battered by a storm that no one seems eager to truly explain. But I want to share what I have seen, what I feel rippling beneath the surface, because the why matters even if you are not a Bitcoin believer. You are witnessing something that might change the way markets move, possibilities tilt, and dreams are made or unmade for the rest of this wild journey into the future. Before we go further, let me ask you, if the pulse of money, of power, and of speculation matters to you even a little, take a moment. Subscribe to Crypto 101 Central. Join me in this search for clarity. Trust me, you will not want to miss the tremors just ahead. And tap that bell because sometimes understanding arrives like a thunderclap, sudden and fierce, and you will want to be there when it hits. Now breathe in with me and let us wade into the unknown, where facts twist around emotion, and every headline is a whisper in the dark. What is happening here is more than a crash, more than just a price chart trembling. It is a mirror, held up to the market's restless psyche, its hopes, its anxieties, its insatiable hunger for meaning. The first tremor came from a place you might imagine as distant: stiff suits, marble floors, the silent ticking of clocks inside the Federal Reserve Bank. But power has a scent, and it seeps into every pocket and every portfolio. There is talk swirling, heavy and electric, about change at the very top. President Trump, the architect of spectacle, has announced Kevin Warsh as his future chairman for the Fed. It seems like just another name, another headline, but for those of us who have watched market tides turn on the faintest whiff of policy, it was a shiver, a hint at the unknown, a promise and a threat stitched together. Why should a Bitcoin holder, gold bug, or even a casual observer care? Because every move the Fed makes is felt in the bones of money itself. It is about the value of the United States dollar, the weight of inflation, the magical, terrible act of money printing. Until now, much of the crowd betting on gold and Bitcoin did so out of a kind of dread, a belief that the dollar might be unraveling, that more stimulus, more loose policy was a certainty. After a devastating year for the greenback in 2025, that fear became currency of its own. President Trump, with a flourish, had made it clear, wanted the Fed to slash rates ferociously, pour more fuel into the engine, weaken the dollar. But now, Kevin Warsh, a figure sharpened by the grit of the 2008 financial storm, stands at the door, not as a puppet, not as a yes man, but as someone who once called for higher, not lower, interest rates. And so the tide turned, if only in sentiment. What if this new Fed chair does not unleash a tidal wave of cheap money? What if the dollar is not left to wither? The glittering castles, built on the assumption of infinite dollar weakness, suddenly, they shimmer and shake. That is how it began. A wave of doubt, rolling first through Bitcoin, then rippling out. The urgency, the frenzy to hold gold, to own Bitcoin as a shield against the reckless decay of cash, does not burn as hot when the promise of endless inflation starts to flicker. If the Fed does not play the part, is there still a reason to bet so heavily on fear? But there is a deeper, more structural change, one that has reshaped Bitcoin into something almost unrecognizable to what it was a handful of years ago. I have seen it unfold, piece by digital piece. Once, Bitcoin was adored for its scarcity, its simple, brutal beauty, 21 million coins and no more. It was a mountain, unyielding. But as the years unraveled, so did its purity. The proliferation of derivatives, futures, options, ETFs, 1,000 mirrors reflecting the same glimmer of promise. The essence, the core idea of a limited, scarce asset, gets diluted, drop by drop. Ask yourself, why do you own or crave or fear Bitcoin? Is it because you wish to hold the thing itself, to touch that digital gold, to keep something absolutely finite? Or is it just a grab at the promise of being richer tomorrow than today? I see many no longer dreaming of ownership, but gambling on direction. Instead of buying the coin, they bet on its destiny, hoping for a wild swing and a bigger win. This is no longer an investment. It is an electric, glittering bet. It is stage 3 of mania, where people pile into not the asset but its echoes and shadows, a swirling dance of speculation. And as surely as the tide returns, fear breeds panic. That last, terrible trigger, the stampede of panic selling. Bitcoin has always been volatile, but there is an edge now, a rawness that is almost beautiful in its brutality. The headlines dance with doomsayers and prophets. Michael Burry, the seer from The Big Short, tosses a single stone into the water. If Bitcoin slips under 50,000, miners go bankrupt, tokenized futures collapse, a black hole opens. The very next sunrise, prices tumble again, 10% chewed away by the restless teeth of the market. But let us be honest, this is not new. Speculative waves have always roared loudest, where hope and terror are most entwined. If the wind turns against you, you sell. Not out of calculation, but out of fear's tight grip. And maybe somewhere inside, you hope to buy it back cheaper, unless the dream is gone for good. I am not here to tell you what to believe. I do not demand you buy or sell or even care very much for Bitcoin. I ask only this. Look at the patterns. This is not only about crypto. It is the same trembling pulse that beats beneath gold, stocks, real estate. When news is joyous, we imagine nothing can fall. When fear arrives, we forget that anything can rise again. The difference, perhaps, is just time and who manages to outwait the storm. In these past few years, the markets have spun wild. A company whispers the words artificial intelligence, no matter how deep they sink into debt, and the stock surges upward. That was 2025, optimistic, hungry. Now, in 2026, the story is harsher, realism nipping at the narrative. Debt is not forgiven so easily. Investors seek not just the drama of promises, but the hard path to profit. Some will thrive, others will sink. The speculative edge cuts both ways, sharper than ever as money tightens, as the Fed signals caution, as the old assumptions erode like cliffs in a storm. Look at the aching fall in gold and silver. Prices tumbling at the fastest pace in over a decade. Look at Bitcoin. Its highs, its cliffs, its sudden, breathless plunges. All of it. Why? Because the script has changed. The White House demanded lower interest rates and stimulus, but the Fed has not bent, not yet. Markets, hungry for certainty, are being fed ambiguity and restraint, and they are spitting it back in waves. So here is the heart of it. Investing, in the end, is not about chasing the hottest flame or fleeing the darkest shadow. It is about understanding cycles, the way wildflowers bloom and wither, the way crashes wound and recoveries heal. I keep my hand in gold, not for riches, but as a kind of slow, sacred savings. Real wealth, like courage, is patient. The lesson in all of this chaos: diversify, hold the different pieces, real estate, stocks, digital and physical gold, Bitcoin, because the universe will sometimes smile on one, sometimes on another, and rarely on all at once. The trade, the mania, the panic. For some, these are chances to buy cheap, to build quietly, to wait for the next season. For others, they are traps that snap shut on dreams unmoored from reality. If you hear me now, know this. Investing is not the art of never losing. It is the patience to endure, to see beyond the next headline, the next tremor, the next crash. Do not let your emotions or the frantic shouts of the internet twist you out of your path. Walk forward. Watch, listen, and breathe. And as you journey on, let us walk together. Like the video if you have found a piece of clarity here. Share your thoughts, your questions, your worries down in the comments. I want to read them to understand what beats under your skin when the markets riot. If you wish to go deeper, if you want to guide through these mazes, I invite you to my free investing masterclass. It is a space where I will teach you how to find what others miss, how to see beyond the first gleam or shadow. Register below, and you will also gain access to market briefs, a lifeline in this wild river, completely free. Let me offer you what I have learned, and together, we will brave what is ahead. Thank you truly for traveling this path with me. The best thanks you can give is a referral. Share this video with a friend, a fellow seeker, anyone searching for truth in this labyrinth of money, hope, and fear. As these cycles spin and deepen, stay curious, stay strong. Watch another video, hit the bell, and let us unravel the riddles yet to come together.